I have spoken to the president about sustainable energy many times, and actually, there are times when he's been supportive, but then at the end of the day, he has got way more support from the oil and gas industry because it's way bigger. The electric car industry is small, but I am encouraged by the fact that the car companies are switching to electric because for a long time it was not just the oil and gas industry we're fighting, but we're also fighting all the big auto companies as well. I mean, like, and they're like some of the biggest employers in the world. I think President Trump is for sure supportive on the space exploration side, and then I mean, arguably he's been as supportive as he can be on the electric car front, recognizing that a massive portion of the Republican support is coming from oil and gas. So I don't know if I'm not a politician, obviously, but if you're a politician and you want to win and you got a big chunk of support coming from oil and gas, then there's a limit to how far you're gonna push that situation.
Do you like him? Are you voting for him?
I mean, to be totally frank, I'm not. I mean, I think let's just see how the debates go.
That's going to be your thing, the debates?
Well, I think that is probably the thing that will decide things for America.
Why is that?
I think people just want to see if Biden's got it together. If he does, he probably wins. If you got a two-party system, then the problematic issues are going to kind of fall somewhat randomly into one party or the other. It's not clear to me that there's a cohesive set of reasoning why these things are on one party versus another. They seem semi-random. And, obviously I'm like socially very liberal, and then economically right of center, maybe, or center. I don't know. Obviously not a communist. So I think we want to keep improving the system, but we want a system that is responsive to the people. And all capitalism really means is just doing things making products that people want. I mean, we're literally fighting what Eisenhower called the military-industrial complex, So, I mean, it's not an easy battle fighting the military-industrial complex. And so it's really tough to break in. I mean, it might be the case that, for sure, SpaceX being able to win against the combined might of Boeing and Lockheed, which are the two biggest defense contractors in the country, that was an extremely tough battle. The initial lawsuit we filed was really just to be allowed to compete, because what had happened, this is several years ago, was the Pentagon had awarded Boeing and Lockheed a sole source uncompeted contract for $11 billion to launch US satellites. And they didn't even compete it. So it was a sole source uncompeted. And we're like, this is crazy. You got to at least run a competition. The law says you should have to run a competition. And so as a function of that lawsuit, or partly as a function of that lawsuit, we were able to get the Air Force to run a competition. And then we were able to win some launches from that competition. And then we were able to win more launches in the subsequent competition. Yeah, so, but our challenges have mostly been, to be clear, with the procurement side of things, not with the Air Force operationally. We're able to lower the cost of access to space, so we're certainly saving the taxpayer a lot of money. And we're advancing the technology of launch by having reusable rockets. Reusability is very important for improving access to space. And it's really just kind of insane to have a rocket be expendable. You build this incredibly exquisite machine, and then it comes down and smashes in the ocean, and there's like debris at the bottom of the ocean. This is crazy. If you at least have two competitors, better than having none. A duopoly is better than a monopoly. An oligopoly is better than a duopoly. But ultimately, you want several companies or many companies competing to serve the greater good or serve the customer, essentially. Multiple companies competing to advance the future of spaceflight, so we can ultimately become